La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.
So one of the questions that there's frequently confusion about is, and we weren't able to get to it yesterday, is am I allowed to use an inhaler when fasting? For example, like vaporized Vicks, for example, or whatever else. Can I use an inhaler during Ramadan? And this invalidates the fast. Right? This invalidates the fast. If one has a need to use such an inhaler, then one is permitted to use it, but it would break one's fast. So generally, if someone is sick, for example, and there's no other way to alleviate their sickness, or someone is asthmatic, for example, and they need to use it, then they may have an excuse from fasting. But let's say, for example, someone has asthma and they have to use one of those pumps, then the advice the scholars give is, in that kind of situation, you try to minimize those things that would trigger the need to use a pump. But if you do need to use it, you have the full reward of that day of fasting, and then when you do use it, it does invalidate the fast. And this is an important principle in fiqh, that sometimes you may be rewarded for it, yet it was not valid. And sometimes something may be valid, but you were not rewarded for it. So for example, if someone prayed in congregation at the masjid, but they're doing so insincerely, they're doing it to show off, they're not rewarded for it. It was valid, but there's no reward for it. Rather, the act of showing off, of riya, makes that action incur sin. It makes that action incur sin, and it is morally culpable. On the other hand, someone may start the day fasting, but fall ill, or have to use some medication or an inhaler. You are rewarded for your sincere intention there. Right? And then, if it proved that you're unable to fast, then you have the full reward of your intention, but legally that fast was not valid because you did not fulfill the conditions for a complete fast. Normally, of course, we operate in a situation where our actions are both valid and rewarded, but there are many exceptions where an action could be valid but not rewarded when the action is insincere, or one could have a situation where one performed an action, one was not able to complete it, but one is rewarded fully for it. And sometimes people get very perturbed by that, right?